Once upon a time there was a guy named Xiang Ye. He felt sad because he didn't have any friends or parents to care for him. He went to bed tired after pondering, but when he woke up, he saw a strange girl with horns in his house. He asked her what she was doing there, but she insisted she wasn't in his house. Xiang Ye thought he was imagining things. Then he noticed other people and realized he was in a different world. The girl asked a priest if Xiang Ye was the true prophet. The priest said the prophet should have a special ring like hers. Xiang Ye showed his ring, and the girl had one too. She was shocked that someone without magic could be the prophet and got upset because he was human. Xiang Ye explained he'd just bought the ring from a street store. The girl told the priest Xiang Ye couldn't be the prophet because he was weak. But the priest said it wasn't a mistake to summon him, and that Xiang Ye would save their tribe from extinction. The protagonist didn't understand what was happening, so he asked them to explain. The girl introduced herself as Isabella Osa, the Demon Queen, and told him they were supposed to sign a peace treaty with humans that day. However, her commander Lillian betrayed her with the help of other humans. Isabella lost a big part of her magic powers during the betrayal, but she survived because her 4 stronger subordinates sacrificed themselves. Xiang Ye, feeling like he's in a different world, decides he wants to be the hero of the story. He suggests Isabella hide in the mountains, but the other girls explain they're running away from humans, so Isabella summoned a prophet for help. But he turned out to be useless. Isabella starts feeling weak and transforms into a girl who looks human. The priest explains her aura is completely depleted, blaming Xiang Ye because she used all her remaining energy to summon him. Suddenly some men warn that humans have entered the realm. They help Isabella so she can escape. The priest would stay to buy them some time so they can manage to escape. Isabella tells him to escape with them, but the priest is already preparing them to teleport. Isabella, crying, tries to take him, but he already took them to another place. In that moment, the door is destroyed, and Tal's Angus appears asking where the Demon Queen is. But she was already gone and planning to take revenge, so they decide to flee for the moment. But they were attacked on the back by the humans, and the girls are planning to sacrifice themselves so she can escape. Xiang Ye promises that he would protect Isabella, so he'd grab her by hand so they could escape, but she wanted to stay and fight and die with them. Xiang Ye says that if she does that, their sacrifice would be in vain, so Isabella, crying, sees from afar how everyone dies so she could escape. On their way, they come across some human knights, and Isabella gets off Xiang Ye's hand and she attacks the knights for killing her subordinates. The protagonist stops her and apologizes, and a knight says that he heard that demons used to wash human beings' brains. They were planning to kill them because they thought they were working for the demons, but Xiang Ye on his knees says that they are not working for them and they were not brainwashed. Isabella wanted to kill him for making her kneel before a human being, but he says that by doing that they could survive, so then they could take revenge. But the knight wanted to kill them anyway so he could get a reward. But there is that guy who stops him and orders him to go with his squadron. A knight, noticing that he was the white squadron leader, didn't want to listen. As a leader, he had the power to make big decisions like killing people. When his companions realized this, they decided to run away. He called himself Sophices, leader of the White Dragon Knight Squad, and asked them when they got caught by demons. Before they could say much, Xiang Ye thanked him for saving them. But Sophices wanted answers first, or else he might harm them. Xiang Ye explained he was captured when he was very young, around 5 or 6 years old. He also introduced Isabella as his wife, who was also taken by the demons. Sophices believed them and offered Xiang Ye his cape to cover up since he was naked. Then he promised to take them to a city where humans lived, but Isabella wasn't sure about going. After some convincing from Xiang Ye, Isabella agreed to go. The next day they reached the city, and Xiang Ye was surprised by how much respect the knights received from the humans. Isabella decided to change her name to Yi Bei, so no one would recognize her. Along the way they met a guy from the royal family called Tulsbury. When Sophices sees him, he orders his knights to go to the royal palace. Xiang Ye asks who he is, and a knight says that he has a higher rank than Sophices by being a regent's son. He says that the current king is very young and the regent supports him making decisions, so he is above every man. Sophices greets him politely, but when Barry notices that he is not the Red Dragon's Knights leader, he despises him. But Sophices asks him why the Red Dragon's Knights were ahead of them. That they were supposed to sing the peace treaty with the demons, and he says that the new king's orders were to kill the Demon Queen. Then Sophices' father, who was the imperial leader, arrives. He is called Gyro Dida, and he says that he heard his son was in town and he decided to show up and say hello, saying he is amazed by the fact that Sophaces' father was someone important in the kingdom. A knight tells that Gyro is close to the king, and also he and the regent has very different political points of view. In that moment, trumpets can be heard since the Red Dragon's night squadron arrival. They were carrying the priest's head impaled in a sword. Watching that, Isabella wanted to kill them all. But Xiang Ye calms her down, and while watching Angus, she promises that she will kill him. Angus thought that Guro came to welcome him, but he says that he was going to see the king, and both decide to go together. His son Barry gets close to him, but he threatens him and says that if he keeps on playing, he will kill him, and they went without him. They take both of them to their new home. The protagonist is surprised by the fact that it was so big. In that moment, some servants appear. One of them introduces herself as Alina and she was going to feed them, but Isabella asks why Sophaces is being so nice with them even when he barely knows them. On the other hand, these two presents themselves before the king who was just a boy, and he congratulates Angus for having completed the mission he assigned to him. But Gyro says that what Angus did was a crime, because the mission was to sign a peace treaty with the demons, not killing the demon queen. He also says that if the missing demon queen returns to the demon tribe, she will bring war against humans, and they will lose a lot of people. Angus says that before they could sign the peace treaty, Lillian told him that she had her people's support to rebel, and that if they helped her become the new queen, she would make a strong relationship between the two tribes. Then he delivers a letter to the king about what they had agreed with the queen. After reading it, he congratulates him for doing well his job. But Gyro says that there's a mistake because he does not believe the demons agreed so easily to accept their new queen. The king says to leave everything in Angus' hands. He obeys, making Angus happy. Then we see Xiang Ye immersed in a bath, ponders his longing to return to his own world, haunted by the memories of death he witnessed. Then Sophaces arrives to take a bath with him, and Xiang Ye thought that all that good treatment they were receiving, they were going to take it back slowly. But instead, Sophaces informs him that efforts are being made to locate his family, and Xiang Ye lies, saying that since when the demons brainwashed him, he can't manage to remember anything from his past. Sophaces tell him that he had a brother called Sophasak, and the demons captured him, and he asks Xiang Ye if he knows him. But Xiang Ye says no because there were a lot of human slaves in the demons' tribe. Sophaces gets sad, but Xiang Ye cheers him up by keep talking, and Sophaces says that Lillian became the new demon queen, and then they keep talking about how his father and the regent aren't getting along. And when they finish with their bath, Alina takes him to his room, and when the door opens he finds Isabella changing her clothes. She was nervous at the beginning, but she closes the door rapidly, and she says that he should stop treating her as the demon queen, since Alina had been watching, and since he told everyone that they were married. They put them both in the same room so they should behave as a married couple to avoid suspicion. Then they hear someone approaching and it is Alina, so they start making love to make Alina leave, but they were only making sounds to fake it. Xiang Ye was taking it too far, so she hits him and makes him go to sleep on the floor. Xiang Ye asks Isabella how to go back to his world, but she doesn't know, which makes him sad. Then he remembers the rings and asks Isabella for hers. He tries to go back using the rings but fails. Meanwhile, Alina finds Sophaces, and he tells her not to interrupt Xiang Ye and Isabella. Alina asks why he's helping them, and he explains that Xiang Ye reminds him of his lost brother. Alina is happy for him because he hasn't smiled in a long time. Sophaces takes Alina to bed as a reward. The next day, Xiang Ye wakes up, and Alina gives him new clothes. She notices Isabella is missing, so they went outside to look for her. On their way, he sees Sophaces training with his bow and is impressed by his skill. Then he sees Isabella practicing and is amazed by her abilities despite losing her powers. Sophaces invites them to eat, but Xiang Ye wants to leave the human kingdom. Sophaces insists they can stay in his mansion forever, but Isabella prefers to manage on their own. Sophaces offers them jobs, but Isabella would rather work for the demon tribe than for them. Then we see a story about humans being terrorized until they asked a powerful dragon for help. The dragon protected them, and in gratitude, they worshipped it as a deity, creating Dragon Knight squadrons of different colors. We focus on the White Dragon Knight Squadron, which is the king's personal cavalry, and there are two ways to get into the squadron. One is to demonstrate that strong enough and worthy to serve the king, and the other way is by obtaining a diploma from an honor school in the capital. She says that she wants to be an honor student in that school to get stronger, and Xiang Ye thinks that was the only way to get out the human kingdom. She says that she wants revenge, and Zanji, scared, covers her, saying that they want to save other human beings that are trapped within the demon tribe. Sophices says no because fights are not as easy as he thinks, but Xiang Ye says that he has other purpose by joining the school. He says that after he graduate they want to help him and his father to lead the human tribe to the top and return them the favor of helping them. Sophices end up believing him and they accept to enrolling them into the school, and he noticed that Isabella had talent for the school, but he suggests Xiang Ye to cook rather than fighting. 2 months after Sophices inscribed them and explained the different branches there are in school. He also says that there is a professor who will evaluate them to decide what branch is better for each one, and a knight is assigned to guide them in school. Before he says that if they don't manage to pass the selection test, he will take them back to the mansion.